I don't want my Discord there. I would like my Discord over here, please, to make sure that it is actually working. That is crazy that that is working like that. All right. What are we doing today? I really should change this from screen to window capture, but whatever. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Oh, no. Shoot, how often does that happen? How often you go into a game and hit the wrong button? Was not what I wanted to do. So we're just going to wait a couple moments here. Wait a couple moments while it loads. Let's see what's going on the r/epic Reddit. Blast marker choice. All right. I've book looking. Okay. I assume what he's trying to say. All right. I've been looking into blast markers and I found several free STLs. I'm wondering what people here like and use. What blast markers do you like for easy use and for looks? Personally, I'm a big fan of cotton on 25mm bases. So, personally, big fan of dyed cotton on 25mm bases. But a lot of people just use dice post. Alright. This is my challenge park that I'm doing. Not the... Oh. Stream lag. Wow, okay. So here's the challenge park I'm doing for the next challenge level. It's, of course, not done. I'm not speedrunning it, I'm just enjoying the process, because that's how I play the games. These guys are pretty unhappy, but yeah, I'm sure the Megalodon will eat them. Troodons over here probably aren't super thrilled. Oh no, they're doing well now. Okay. Was it the Herrerasaurus that aren't? Yeah, the Herrerasaurus don't have enough space either. But, one will die soon. I'm pretty sure one of them is like super old. Oh, no, they're all just babies. Okay, whatever. We'll come back to it. So, what I would like to do, ideally, is use a custom island to make as close to a screen-accurate version of Isla Nublar that we can. So we're going to sandbox. We're going to use Island Generator. We're going to set that to Staffen Park. Start that off with custom. Because this is a build series, I don't necessarily want to be constantly interrupted by things. We are going to deal with a lot of this stuff later. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I do want scientists. I do not want cache or narrative events. Cache, we'll keep that unlimited. Going to set all that to Jurrasic. Tax none. What? There we go. Keep that day. No weather events for now. Wasn't Hawaii an option on here? Oh, California is. Okay, we'll just do default for now. Yeah, we can come and change all this, I think, later. But for now, that's fine. Basic. Alright. While that's loading, what else is on r/epic40k? Could anyone possibly recommend a good starting army for epic Armageddon orcs? Hi all, sorry I'm a bit lame. Sorry if this is a bit lame. I love epic Armageddon back in the day, and Mate's picking it up. I'm looking for standard size orcs, a good mix of stuff. I couldn't tell you anything. I don't know anything about epic Armageddon. G? Okay. So we want an island that kind of looks like Nublar. It doesn't need to look super much like Nublar to start. Ain't feeling that. No. I would like this if it didn't have this big hole. Can I cover all that up? It looks like I can. Alright. Am I assume the same on this one? Yes, okay. So, step one, we are going to drop pretty much the entire island. That was the wrong... that was the wrong brush. Whoops. So we're just going to take some time, come around, level everything out around the edge. Lots of terraforming to be done. Oh, I didn't even notice this little peninsula thing out here. I bet we could do something really neat with this. What? I'm not positive, but it will definitely be neat to see what we can do with that. And coming back around to where we started. And we're just going to push this in a little bit further before we switch to the other flattening tool. I always think it's important when you're doing something like this to get a rough idea, like to flatten out the island for a creative park like this. Especially if you're doing a recreation, right? I think that's hugely important. Because you have the tools. And it doesn't really take too long with the island generator. I do wish we had some larger brushes. But for now, this is fine, right? And of course, the island isn't necessarily that exact teardrop shape you see in the or you hear described in the book or on the movie maps, right? Like, we didn't have an accurate map of Isla Nublar until like 2015, I want to say, with the new movies. But hold on, which way's the sun? If we come over here, if we grab our sand brush, there's the sun, so that way right there is probably east. So, yeah, like over here would probably be where most of the paddocks stick out. Have North Docks up here somewhere, maybe right there. East Dock would be down here somewhere. Down here might be the marine area, right? Lots of stuff to think about and to include. None of it's all super important, but it's all cool. I like Jurassic Park. Makes me feel good. But a little bit of discussion of what I'm thinking this park is going to be is I want this to be more or less screen accurate, not just to the movie Jurassic Park, but to all the other stuff that is kind of tied in with the movie, right? Like, I want this to be related to Jurassic Park the game and all that sort of stuff. I want it to all be fairly similar to that. I want everything from the movie referenced in the movie, all the stuff you see in the background in the diner scene, or dinner scene, lunch scene, whatever it was, where they're cooking up some sea bass. But I also want everything from the game, and for it to, just kind of feel like how I think Jurassic Park should feel like. Oh, we still have almost done. And now we're just going to clean up some of this, so that way we can come back over with our sand, so that way we can rough out where we're going to want some of the big things. So let me just hop over on the other monitor, because we are going to pull up our rough map of Isla Nublar. So, in the movie, sorry, we do kind of see. Why can I not? There we go. We do kind of see a rough layout of the paddocks, and we do. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. Okay, we do kind of see roughly that they would take up a space roughly this size, but I wanted to take up more like that. I really don't want to be hampered with size at all. So, first things first, we know that there is a rough outline of fences that just kind of follows and traces all of this. And how far did I say I wanted it to go down? It's still a bit further. I feel like that's probably going to be a good size. And then it all kind of comes a bit down like this. And a little up like this. So we kind of get something that's a little bit teardrop shaped or triangular. Kind of goes in a bit. I feel like it probably should go in a little bit more. We do also have a space. We do have a space kind of over here. So let's thin that out a little bit more. I feel like it's got to come in this way more. Down here, it's kind of got a section where it bends up like that. How does that look? Not terrible. Not terrible, indeed. So. Let's have a gander here. I'm looking at the map on the other screen trying to figure out where exactly I kind of want. So, like, down here we kind of know this is the T-Rex paddock. Not all of them are fully labeled, unfortunately. But we know that the T-Rex paddock would be up here, kinda. And we know it's kind of shaped. Oh. Goodness gracious, publisher. Okay. So. It does have a bit over here where it kind of juts out. We don't really have that on here, unfortunately. Unless I was to kind of get rid of all this and shift it up one. And then I can, yeah. Shoot, okay. That's why we sketch everything out ahead of time. The importance of planning. Because now, if we come up here instead, does that kind of go high enough? Yeah, kinda. I feel like it's too big now. But I'm not sure down here where exactly I should cut it out. Oh, this is not fantastic. It doesn't give us too much space for things other than the enclosures, like the marine facility and all that would be down here, but no, well. Okay. So, The T-Rex we know has this big swooping area, according to the map. Let's stick it kind of right like here. I don't think it actually needs to swoop out all that much. Kind of more like that. Okay, hold on. Looking again. So we grab that. It kind of swoops down. Like that, I think. Yeah, okay. It probably should go a little bit more this way, but whatever. And then from up here, there's kind of like a straight bit and like a little wiggle over down here. We'll kind of go straight and then down like so, and then down, and it kind of makes a hexagon type thing. It pushes way too far this way. Way too far this way. But at the same time, like I feel like that's kind of like a good size. Oh, I can't really see anything. Oh. Yeah, Yeah, I think that's an okay size. So then, from here, we kind of get a bit of a shape like this. And from here, it kind of swoops up this way, and like this, and down like that. And then it kind of cuts off. Kind of like so. Then this one up here kind of keeps going straight. We are going to redefine east. Put another one just kind of right like that. So it would come up, and then up, and then up like that. That's kind of got the shape. Feel like it should be a little bit thinner. There we go. Yeah, so we're definitely going to have to push all this more this way. So let's do the interior first. There's kind of a straightaway up here, and then it bends out. Probably about that far. And then this whole little bit. Hold on, I got an idea. Okay, so this whole little bit here comes straight out, and then down with a little bulge. That is not the right bulge shape. Maybe a bit more like that. Before curving down and then back up just like that. Okay. So then that is not the right shape. So this up and around, kind of like that, to up like that, and I kind of want it to go a little bit more up like that. Okay. So then from here, this line kind of just follows the perimeter. So we get down there, and right down here, there's a split where that kind of goes up like that. So, how does this look? Okay, I think the issue is all right over here. Oop. All right. There we go. Not horrendous. Not great, not horrendous. So I do believe we see in the movie, and I am going to rewatch the movie before we go too far into this. This right over here is our dialos. I feel like we should make that bigger so we kind of can read it a bit better. So that would be dialo. This here is listed as raptor. This here is listed as rex. This would be listed as brack, but I don't necessarily want the brachiosaurus right there. This, I believe, is listed as trike. See, now how does that make sense? Where you'd come in, you have the Dilophosaurus. You want the Dilophosaurus on this side, on the right. So it almost makes more sense to put the Dilophosaurus over here. See, this is kind of the issue with Jurassic Park, right? Is the canon is a suggestion. So, first things first, we're going to kind of jot down a slightly different shape. So the tour comes through here. You'd have the Rex paddock, which admittedly, that's probably going to be another fence. Unless this is here is the cave. That could be the cave. And then they come out, which would make this over here the trike enclosure. Should probably make it go the other way. So there's the trike enclosure. Now, personally, I've always kind of been of the opinion that when the T-Rex pushes them off, they go that way into the... Up here would be the Gallimimus enclosure, but yeah, that I don't think is happening here. So the T-Rex would push them into the enclosure this way, where they come down here. And so technically in the movie this is listed as reserve pen, but I think that would be where the galleys go. So I think the Gallimimus would have to end up coming down here, maybe. Or if instead of Raptor, this was the Galley Pen, that could be interesting too. But then they're not hopping a fence directly towards the visitor center, which would leave this area. So that does leave this up here, which I do kind of want to include the Stegosaurus and the Herrerasaur, even though we don't see them in the movie. But we see the embryos. Ooh, there's a little space over here. Could make that the Stegosaurus. Be pretty tight. then maybe... Yeah, we'll see what becomes of this one here. I think that kind of works. Of course, we're making some inferences and changes, right? Of course, down here being the large herbivore pen, which I do think needs to be even larger. I want this to more closely follow this. Now, thanks to Jurassic Park the game, we kind of know that the marine facility, the Jeep would have followed this trail down to the marine facility. So maybe we stick the marine facility right up here. So we're going to draw another kind of line like so. It's probably even too big, but whatever. We're going to call this that. I can do a better end than that. Marine. So this area here would all be the marine. Which would put our north docks. How do we feel about this here being the north dock? Or should it be more over here? I kind of want it over here. Ooh, maybe like right down here? Yeah, okay. So this here. Put in a couple big lines. Do we want it to go all the way there? No, we kind of want a bit sticking out over here. So just like that. North dock. That's a weird O. North dock. Not too far, like still pretty far from all that, kinda, but not too far. But then that would allow us to come this way. With the visitor area. And then even up here, we can push this out a little further. I do kind of prefer it connect up with the north dock and then not super connected with the visitor area. Kind of want to push it even further. Kind of like up this way. And this then becomes the staff compound. Okay, how are we looking? It's not super terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. So, oh, East Dock. I think East Dock, like, right down here. East Dock. Oh boy. Dock. Right up there. Or, well, actually, I kind of want it right there. So if that's the East Dock, then or well, maybe the North Dock should more be like up here. Whatever. Hmm. I think that all kind of works. I think it all kind of works. So now we're going to come up with this thing over here. So we kind of know up here will be the visitor center. And then we have a rough path that will come this way. Right over here will be the gates. Well, I guess actually, because that's not really on the fence. The gates would go more like right there into the park. And this road comes up this way. Theoretically, you would see the raptors on that side. Go through the cave. Go through the T-Rex area. Now, how exactly the Triceratops enclosure would work, I'm not positive yet. But then, I mean, like, it probably would just come straight down here, but there's a bunch of stuff we see in the Triceratops enclosure from the game that I want to include before coming down here through the large herbivore enclosure. Probably just come up this way and out before heading to the marine facility, before circling back up here. Voila. That kinda does it. Theoretically, we could also stick the aviary up here. That would also kind of be cool. And then if we wanted to have a monorail network, eventually that would come down this way. It would just kind of run down there. So that leaves up here as mountains, over here as mountains, and there's probably going to be some mountains in here. Probably. So we can kind of get started on some of that, I think. I just realized I can, like, not hear the game. And now it's too loud. I just realized I should probably pull up some images of Hawaii. So I kind of know what I'm doing, or have like something to compare it to. Jurassic Park stills while I'm here, just to kind of get a rough idea of some of the enclosures. Okay, so from the T-Rex paddock, from over here, oh shoot, does the Jeep go this way? Out of the mountain? And the fence would be on this side, so it would like come this way? Through the raptor territory? That would make sense. And then I would like cut through the Triceratops territory and down. That is kind of rough and not what I was hoping for. This is why reference images are important. I think we're going to keep it. I think it's going to be fine. But I could not find the image of all the herbivores in the big field, because that is the shot I would like right now. So that one could kind of look something like that. That one could look something kind of like that. part of me thinks it should be taller, but that's because I'm like way over here. It feels like it needs to be a little bit taller. Hmm. Okay, so that's going to be a bit more like that. Ooh, I bet I could just do that to kind of get the shape I want from the mountains. Yeah, that kind of looks right. Not super, super right, but pretty darn close. Yeah, not terrible. Not terrible indeed. Well, if I was a bit wiser, I would have rounded some of those. Smoothed them out before I went too far. But I think that is an okay start. Of course, we haven't done like the hills and the actual park yet, but that's all okay. This seems like it's going to be a big area to try and fill. Well, not try and fill. Seems like most of the dinosaurs are going to have enough space. I do think, just looking at this now, even though it's probably more accurate to the map, I do think I'm going to cut this a little bit thinner. And that's going to give me more space for the Triceratops enclosure. Because this section here, we have no reference for exactly what it's like. Absolutely none. So part of me just wants to kind of like scrape it out and put a mountain here. And in the book, they do have Velociraptor Valley, I think. But we'll see. I do also kind of want, maybe I'll put it right down here is where I'll put it. This will be the expedition center, because I don't think visitors to the park are going to be landing next to the herbivores and like all that. I think they have their own separate area. So part of me wants to say this here would be the expedition center where they'll kind of land and leave. And I know in the game, Jurassic Park, the game, they have like a whole scene where the helicopters are leaving, but I don't know. I don't fully know. And that's just one of the things about doing something like this is, yeah, it's hard to tell. But then that would put the waterfall probably like right there. Watch from landing here. Yeah, that probably looks like it'd be about right. And then they would come down this way into the herbivore paddock, where you would have roughly this view here. You see the mountains in the background. You see them drinking at the lake. And then the car would come up this way, back up to the visitor center. Probably around this way, actually. But I think that is pretty good progress for today. I feel like all these enclosures are going to be about the right size, except maybe the raptors. I mean, it's definitely big enough, but that's going to be a pain in the butt to try and secure and make look good, just because it's a really funky shape. I'm like, just out of curiosity, how big is something like this? Oh, yeah, there's definitely plenty of room there. How big is it compared to the visitor center? Yeah, there's a good amount of space. Oh, I've actually almost made that the perfect size too, wow. That being said, I don't know if we're going to actually use the visitor center. Not because it doesn't look good, no, it looks gorgeous, but as the operation center, I don't know, right? I mean, the operation center was in the visitor center, definitely in the movie, so it makes sense. And we are going screen accurate. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it. I don't know yet. Then, of course, North Dock right down here, which while we're here, we might as well. If we're working on shapes and stuff, we're going to cut this back like that. So then that there kind of would be the North Dock. Give it a little bit more terrace going this way. Be something kind of like that, with just a little bit of rough terrain like right there. kind of block out that view. And most of the visitor stuff would be over here. Or down here in the marine facility. And then up here would be most of the staff facilities. I think that kind of works. It's definitely going to be an interesting kind of thing. Right down here would be like the arrival point. Voila. So I guess we come from here. The main staff area would be up over here, so that would be a way up. And then the main visitor path would come up here to the visitor center here, and all the extra visitor buildings probably back in here. And the staff buildings would mostly all be up here. Maybe we'd have a monorail system, kind of chug along this way up through the mountain. Maybe we put an aviary up here. And then over here would be the marine facilities. Over here is the helipad where the guys from the movie land, they come down this way into the herbivore paddock where they see the brachiosaurs and all the hadrosaurs and all that up over here. This would all be blocked off somehow with line of sight blockers. Go through the cave. There's the T-Rex paddock. Come this way into the Triceratops paddock. Through into the herbivore paddock. Oh, before coming out this way, I forgot about this. I guess that is going to make more sense to grab this. It's going to make more sense to have that come up this way before circling back up over here and out this way. Or maybe come in this way. No, because it's supposed to go to the marine facility. Oh yeah, and this here would be the East Dock where Dennis Nedry is trying to go, but he gets eaten way over here. Way on the other side of the island. Yeah, that is definitely huge, but I mean, it's the primary part of the park. It should be huge. It should definitely be large. But I think that's a good start. So we're just gonna save as Nublar Stream Uno. Alright, well, I think that's all I got in me for today, so thank you very much for stopping by if you did. Or if you're watching this sometime in the future, thank you very much for checking all this out. I am hoping to get some painting in, do some painting videos, talk about Epic more,